No.
A
Anyone?
lot.
Roz communed with Cthulhu.
Let's start at the start of the session.
We all communed with Cthulhu
Yup.
and broke his egg. We broke Cthulhu's egg, which made Cthulhu angry. So now he's watching us. And then Roz was like, "No, I'm gonna reverse ping you." And Cthulhu's like, "I'm Cthulhu. Why'd you try to reverse ping me, idiot?" And traps her and Lana in Cthulhu land. And Rivera pulled them out. We left Roz and Lana to go handle an appointment. And that's it.
Yes, glossing over the fact that you left them to go to an appointment in where you know there was at least some Eidolon type thing. You're not quite sure what it
Very
was.
good idea. So I don't know where this. I did it. I said it, but
You could have said no. And so y'all managed to contain and destroy the fruit. You all realize that the fruit, as you were trying to contain it, that something was trying to come out. You barely managed to hold it in and have no serious repercussions other than you had a distinct feeling that something was watching you. And that did not go away. And as such, Roz started pinging back at this thing as you all flew to the East Coast to try and see about this asylum and find out a little bit more about Rivera. And once there, as you were settling into the hotel, she got yoinked by whatever she was trying to sense. And it dragged her and Lana into somewhere. You're not quite sure where. They collapsed and saw some not so great things. Roz was able to realize that whatever was pulling them further in darkness was also eating their magic. Shredded her own magic to get away, to allow Rivera to pull her out. But now she is very tired and is having vision nightmares, which is fun. Maritza, Ollie, and Rivera went to the asylum while Lana was out. And because you guys did not want to bother with trying to reset the appointment, you just wanted to go now. And you met with Mr. Wilde, seemingly just a little, perhaps slightly overwhelmed, genuine, little scholarly dude that's walking you around the asylum. And you are sensing some magics there. And Rivera, you have had a vision while there. And you were walked through a wing that was once where they kept the non-flight risk the non-flight risk patients. And you were told that a Miss King, who was in that photograph that you have, was there. And you saw a vision of her and someone else, seemingly with nature powers. You're feeling magic throughout the asylum. However, it feels like it is trying to get away from you quite often. And you are feeling both Eidolon magics and closer to your own. You guys have also been lying to Lana, saying that you're going to leave. And Lana, smelling bullshit, has started to run to the asylum at top speed, but it's still going to be a few minutes for her to get there.
we hired an Uber.
And I believe we left off with after the vision, you guys following Mr. Wilde. He's continuing the tour. Anything else that we'd like to add, or any questions we would like to ask before we dive in? Going once, going twice.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Where's Ollie in all of this?
Ollie went with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, he went with you guys. He probably would have stayed somewhere like
been out of the way just to be there because he's like, I don't want to be around the other two because they are doing a thing, I guess.
Yeah, so
He's just kind of doing the cat thing where he follows you from a distance.
it is for the benefit of you, Joe, it is a very large mansion that you can tell was turned into a hospital or an asylum. From the outside, it was very clearly a building that, when it was made, was impressive and perhaps even really pretty. However, it has fallen into disrepair. Inside, there are still remnants of the asylum. There's still furniture and rugs and wheelchairs and such that you guys have come across thus far. Some in surprisingly good condition, some just torn to shreds and in pieces. You can see where the renovations have been attempted to be started, of trying to plaster over holes in the walls. They're trying to, very clearly, you're trying to shore up the structure first. And so there's various places where it's just covered in tarps and such. There's piles on occasion of lumber or metal or screws, construction bits and bobs. And you have come across a small handful of other people that are a part of this historical society that's trying to renovate and get this place back up to safety standards, more or less. You've only come across visually too, but you hear other, with how as big and as open as this mansion is right now. You're not quite sure where anybody is at any given time because the sound seems to be bouncing around a little bit. But you can guess that there's about dozen people altogether in this mansion at various points. There's some that you can hear that are distant enough away that you're like, okay, they're probably, next story up or so. There's some that you can hear very clearly are probably on your floor, but you don't know where they are. The two that you did encounter that were just kind of cleaning, they acknowledged you guys and kind of gave you nods and a wave and such, were cleaning up like this area here. So there are people around, just not very many, and they're kind of scattered all over the place. But, hello, Amy. Congratulations, you joined right as we are starting.
I told you it's late.
Yeah.
We just went through the recap of things, and Ollie is joining the
Chucklefucks, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah, I assumed he'd be joining the Chucklefucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is trailing around behind Maritza and Rivera as they're having their tour. And Mr. Wilde just kind of continues along and leads you towards the other wing from this main hall area. And as he does so, that's not what I wanted. Where's the reveal? There it is. You see another long hallway as he opens another set of heavy doors. And this one, you're walking down, you can see that first he leads you past a room that, as you go by, the door has been fully replaced and the nope, I don't want that. The door has been, window on the door is clear enough that you can see inside that it is the file room that he walked by in the video. And as you all kind of glance in, there's nothing immediate that you see beyond just filing cabinets and bookcases inside. And the upper section of the building, so towards the north, every room that you go by is very clearly a lab or medical room of some sort. And you can see cots and gurneys and bits and pieces of medical equipment around. I would like all of you to make me a mystical roll really fast.
Where is... Where the fuck is Ollie? There it is. All the way at the bottom. And mystical?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So then we'll take you. So as you guys walk by, Maritza, you aren't able to really ping where it's at. But you suddenly get this sensation that something is watching you. Not following you, not even seeming to want to approach. But there is something watching. Likewise, Rivera, you get this shift as you move closer to the side of the building. That there is a stronger presence somewhere. It's not the little bits and pieces of magic that you felt.
Did you feel that?
Rivera just nods without saying anything.
Ollie, like, furrows his brow. Doesn't say anything either, but he did... obviously is confused.
Maritza looks back at, what's the guy's name again?
The
Mr.
guy
Wild?
Mr.
Yeah.
Wild.
Mr.
Yeah.
Wild is the one that's leading the tour.
Looks back to him. Must have been a draft.
Yeah. While his back is turned while we're walking, I'm just going to use my detect magic ability to try and, like, find the source of it.
Okay, so the extra ability that I gave you?
Yeah, the fairy fire.
So, that's nasty. I'm going to reread that one more time for my own sake. Okay. So, there's nothing within 10 feet of you.
I'll just use it as I go.
Okay. So,
Whenever, I don't get seen by other things or other people.
yeah, so whenever Mr. Wild is distracted, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Wild continues down the hallway and just, like, motions kind of vaguely towards the lab rooms. So, I'm sure you can figure out some of the things that happened in there. To be fair to them, they did not know any better, but they were trying to help, usually. We're seriously considering what we're going to be doing with those rooms and what we're going to show. Moving on, and he continues into the lower part of the wing, where you are shown into another area, much like the opposite side. I don't want to hide areas, I want to reveal areas. Much like the opposite side, where there is a series of bedrooms that are in various states of disrepair. And he just kind of motions around. This is also a low flight risk area. This one has slightly more concerning patients in it. As you can see, he motions, and you can see that where the other room had windows in them, but very clearly windows that were not designed to be open, this one has actually barred windows in all of the rooms. The patients here were still the ones that they tried to allow into the main common room a little bit more often, even outside under more strict supervision. But these were the other side of, you know, the ones that had a decent time of things. Quite often you'd end up with people that would move between the two sides of the wings on the first floor, would be thought of as not a flight risk, and then be moved over here once they tried to run, but it was a first time offense and such. Also for some of the people that were put here by family that were not necessarily needing help, but the families wanted to stick them somewhere and were causing a little bit more of a problem, or were of more interest to the public. Sometimes they ended up over here. And he moves towards one of the rooms and kind of motions towards it. And I believe a Miss Rappin from that image that I showed you was also here in this room in particular for a time. She came from a wealthier family, from what I understand. Owned quite a bit of land in the area, and were not owners but foremen in a couple of the factories and such during the time period. And so they could afford to pay a little bit more for her. And he just kind of motions into the room. You can see that's another very small room that was designed to just house a single patient at a time. And do you step in, or you just...
Yeah, I'll go ahead and check it out.
So, as you step in, I want you to roll both a mystical and an emotional. Okay. So as you step in, you can, much like the other room, it takes a moment, but you get the sense of magic clinging to the walls, clinging to the floor, just surrounding you. And where the magic in the other room felt grounded, felt earthy in some way, this one feels cold. And you get another flash of, this time, let me double check their first name. Yeah, Ethel, somebody that you immediately recognize as Ethel, in a magical girl's outfit, with what looks like almost a 5-6 foot tall metal shield on an arm, just bracing herself with you behind her. And she looks bruised and battered, like she has been fighting for a long time. Like, it is the end of a very hard fight. But she's still kind of smiling and smirking, and you remember very distinctly, suddenly, yeah, she was always the confident one. Maybe too confident, but the confident one. And as she lifts the shield so that you can move around her in front of her. The image of Ethel in your periphery as you move past changes to a olive-skinned, dark-haired woman in armor that is almost copper in color, with a very similar shield. And then you've moved past and she's out of your vision, and your mind comes back to the moment. And as you just kind of blink and look around, you see for just a brief flash what looks like a giant rune painted on the wall. Glowing very faintly, this almost silver color, and then it's gone.
And I don't sense it at all after that, or...
The magic is still there, but you don't see anything.
I have the power of phones. I'll text Maurice and Holly. I have the power of
The power
mobile
of
phones.
Aren't you like 15 feet in front of me?
You want me to tell them that there's a the guy researching the asylum that there's a
magic rune.
giant rune in the rune?
Fair.
Yeah, you guys are having to walk the very delicate line of Mr. Wild is being as helpful as he can be at the moment, but you also don't want to make him think that you are insane.
About to reopen this asylum.
We have a group chat. We have a team chat on our phone. Magic rune on wall, probably on others. Question.
Looks at phone. Looks at walls.
I mean, if
Sees nothing.
If both of you want to walk into the room and look around, you can, and I'll allow you to roll a mystical, but you have to enter into the room itself.
This one right here.
It would be this one that he is standing beside. So
Ollie will poke his head in.
I'll put markers in the rooms that have things going on in them. So yeah, you both can roll mystical if you would like.
Partial.
Yeah, so as the two of you kind of step into the room, you both feel much more faintly than Rivera did, but you both feel that kind of cold, firm kind of wall of magic as you cross the threshold that is, again, very kind of familiar to you. Like, this feels kind of like my magic, but it's clearly not mine as far as, like, you know, fire and, what is it? Desire is what you have right now. And as you kind of look around, you both get a very similar kind of shimmering, like looking through a, you know, the heat waves off of concrete. Almost mirage-y effect. This very faint shimmering over a silver rune on the far wall that takes up almost the entire wall before it fades.
And it's one rune? One giant rune?
Yes.
That's what she said.
Okay. So, I mean, Ollie doesn't know shit about runes. but like I would want to know if it's a Gaelic rune or if it's some kind of other type of thing. But
It's not. I'm gonna go ahead and flat out say if I'm talking about runes in this game, it is not human.
okay,
I should probably find a way to erase it.
uh, Ollie he has a little bit of an idea. He'll pull out his phone and send a text to the group chat. Which what is this trio called? What is the group chat like designation? We need a designation.
The Chuckle Fox?
Yeah,
No.
the Chuckle Chat.
No.
So Ollie sends a message to Chuckle Chat and says like, keep going on the tour, and I'll stay behind here and see if I can scribble it out or erase it or damn.
Just get a thumbs up reaction.
Awesome.
Alright, so two of you exit back out of the room. And Mr. Wild. Okay, I need to mute this.
God, I.
Let me double check this. Nope. Give me 2 seconds while I adjust what you can and cannot see on the next level, because you're about to go upstairs.
Imagine wanting the group to stick together as much as possible. Can't relate. Apparently, you guys can.
Not paying attention to the fucking song.
Don't you know you always split the party?
You swapped out an important word there.
Split the party. Split the party.
No.
Yeah.
Alright. So, as you all kind of make that decision, Mr. Wild has already turned and is starting up this set of staircases, which you notice to be, there was another set of staircases on the other side in the other wing, but those were a little bit more sketchy. These seem to be a little bit more firmly supported, and you can see where they have actually fully replaced the railings on the inside side so that you're not going to, or hopefully people would not be likely to fall over the edge and fall down. And as you're going up, you can see that this set of staircases only go up one floor into another set of very heavy medical doors. And as he reaches the top of the stairs, Mr. Wild kind of jiggles the handle for a second, and then you can see that he has to kind of take a step back and then shoulder the door a little bit, and you just hear this grating, rusted sound of metal on metal as he gets this door to finally move and open up, and steps through. And then we will go up here. And Mr. Wild leads you into another hallway. And right about this time, Lana, you managed to reach the bottom of the long drive up to this building. You could see the various cars parked outside that you assume to be of the various workers that are here. And again, it is a vast, worn down building that just the size of it is impressive, even for now, even for modern times. But you could imagine what it would have looked like and how impressive it was when it was built originally. And as you approach and get closer and closer and closer to the front gates, kind of squeeze past the wrought iron of the gates themselves into the actual yard of the mansion, even you get that kind of creeping sensation of there is magic here. And you can't completely place the magic and what it is and what it belongs to. But you do know that there is a lot of it. Just kind of swirling together. And Maritza and Rivera went upstairs, so that will leave. Come back over here for a second. Ollie to his own fucking whims. And Lana would be
Yes.
He just
Right
needed
here.
a smoke break.
There she is. I imagine Lana has been on the phone and or texting Roz the entire drive to make sure she's okay. Like, you're not dead yet, right? You're good? So she fucking left for like the
Wasn't Russ
half-hour
supposed to
drive.
be sleeping?
Yeah.
She went back to sleep, or did she wake up and not able to go back? Is what I thought.
Be trying to sleep, I assume.
Oh, trying to sleep?
X every 2
Here's the thing. I thought she was up from the traumatic
She-
nightmare. Z
Well,
threw at
at
her.
this point, she would probably still be in that nightmare. She was asleep for about 20-30 minutes.
Oh,
But once she does... you're not going to have a good time of trying to go back to sleep, Roz.
I guess she's channel surfing then.
But,
Okay.
Ollie, what kind of fuck shit are you going to do?
So Ollie is, now that he's in the room alone, he's going to go up to that rune and just for Joe's sake, there's never been a rune that's been like a good thing. So it's very obviously like this is doing some sort of imprisonment or restraining of some kind.
This is the
Like,
first
it's-
time you guys have even... Well, there were some runes in the temple that you saw. That was the temple right before you joined, Joe. That they went through, and at the end lost Celine too. So that was the only time that you guys have actually come across any magic runes as a whole. So this is the second time you've encountered them. And in the stint with your team, before you got shunted into the future, you didn't, there was no, like, text or runes or anything that you guys ever encountered.
Okay, so Ollie hasn't seen stuff like this in his past.
No.
But he is going to, he'll take a few steps forward and get really, really close to it. Does the sensation of cold or magic, like, get stronger the closer he is?
Not really. It kind of seems like it's just like this room is infused with this magic.
Okay.
Almost like a scent that hangs in the air of a room.
Well, it's an icy kind of rune. At least that's the vibe I'm getting, because it's cold and silvery. So Ollie is gonna look at it, get right up next to the wall where he can reach out and touch the rune.
And as you approach and you kind of place your hand over the wall, it takes you a second to slide your hand until you hit the point of the rune. And as you're hand slides over the top of where a line of the rune is. You see it kind of spark into view for a second before it fades. And hi Hazel, why you running? Why you running? I ain't got nothing. Sorry, a dog. Let me get back to the appropriate page that I need to be on. As your hand slides across the wall to slide over this rune, and it kind of fades into vision and then back out of vision again. You can feel again that the power within it feels familiar. Feels the same. This is not Eidolon magic as far as you can tell. And you rub your fingers together, trying to create a spark. And I would like you to... I think your highest stat is physical, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Roll me both a physical and a mystical.
Physical. 14, and wow! 4.
Okay. So, the fire jumps to life easily. And you're managing to kind of hold this almost lighter of fire in your hand as you run across this wall. And immediately you see the entire rune come back to life, reacting to your magic. And the silvery coloring of this rune begins to slowly redden and spread from where your hand is through the lines, through connecting lines, until the entire rune is glowing a kind of dull orange, like a heated metal. And as you continue to run your hand along the line of this rune, you see that where your magic has touched, it seems like it's almost melting.
The rune is, or
Yes.
the room?
The
Okay,
rune is.
okay.
And there's almost this flicker of the energy around you in this room of the magic still trying to cling. But as you trace the rune more and more, the magic starts to flicker out more and more. And roll me a persona.
Hey, I've got a +1. 11.
So you feel this magic flickering out. You can feel that sense of being watched that Maritza and Rivera mentioned before. But rather than it approaching, you feel it coming your direction. You feel it coming your direction very quickly.
Oh shit. Is this like the Ollie's like doing something and then camera pans to his back and starts rushing at him?
You feel it kind of coming down your neck, this goosebump sensation up your arms. And you kind of look around you, and the room remains empty, and you look towards the door. And you go to here, this one. And journal for Joe. Under monsters, you should see something labeled as creature. See that figure standing out 2 feet high, peek through the door, and just a toothy little grin. And you could hear its skittering feet as it runs away, and then all of a sudden the sound's gone.
Ollie's gonna chase it.
And the rune is only halfway gone.
It's only halfway gone?
Mm-hmm. This is a big ass
Yeah, he's
rune.
chasing it.
Okay.
Fuck it, he's chasing it. No, we're abandoning the rune. The rune is not threatening in any way. This thing is ugly and weird, and that means threatening.
So you go, like, stomping out of the room, coming around the corner. Lana, did you try to go into the building, or were you just hanging out outside waiting to see if you could see somebody?
Oh, she'd probably go in.
So you just hear somebody hauling ass out of, like, down a hallway. You've made it into this main room.
Okay.
And the other two are upstairs. They're not really being able to hear this.
Just hear someone hauling ass towards
Yeah, if you hear somebody running and you want to approach, you would see just Ollie, like, tearing through the walkway. And Ollie, you see nothing.
What? It like immediately runs out here, like looking for left and right for the thing. It's gone. It's totally gone.
It's gone. Lana, you managed to catch sight of Ollie's head pop out.
eyes locked on target. Zoom.
Yeah, your head pops out, you look one way, then you look the other. There's a moment where you think you see Lana. She disappears, and then suddenly she's in front of you.
Just
Hey!
turn away, turn back. Oh, fucking hell!
Hey, Ollie.
What? But did you? He's like puts a hand on her shoulder and like looks behind her and over her, like on the ceiling. There's nothing?
No.
Looks back the way he came into the room, and there's nothing back there. And he's just like, fucking hell, got away. Did you see a fucking little purple hairy witch looking thing?
What the fuck?
I just it's fucking it was he just there's such visible frustration because he's like, there's so many things that you don't know, and Ollie does not have the time or spoons to go through the process of saying like, okay, cool, here's all of the things that we've learned today. No, he just like frustratedly just goes, fuck, wait, and he grabs her hand, and then we'll start taking her into the room with the rune and be like, come with me. I go, there's some fuck shit going on.
Yeah, Lana, roll me a mystical.
Yeah, okay. Mystical, where the fuck is mystical? There it is. Boop. Nope. Don't feel shit, Chief. Sorry, barking dog.
You're fine.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking to herself, we should not have shown them gremlins. That's where this is coming from.
Yeah, you don't feel anything, but as Ollie leads you into the room, with what Ollie has done, you do see what looks like a half-melted rune on the wall that is now fading back from this kind of burnt, like, hot metal orange back towards the silver glowing magic in the rune. And you step through the door and you do feel some sort of magic here that you think is something akin to your own.
Ollie, like, he is going to re-spark and resume the melting process while he tries to explain to Lana what he understands to be happening.
Okay, what exactly does he understand to be happening?
Not a lot.
Okay.
He knows that there is a rune that Rivera said they should destroy it or do something about it. Ollie, as he's like continuing to go back and melt the rune, and he's like, yes, this fucking thing was silver, and Rivera and I and Maritza got like first we got a tour from Mr. Wild, and we were going through. I wasn't really paying attention because I don't fucking care, but we like he's kind of struggling because he's moving around the room, like going to all of the different spots to continue melting it. Comes back and just goes, right, so we came in here and there's a big fucking silver runic shit all over the walls, and it kind of feels familiar, but it's not Eidolon magic. But I don't fucking trust it or understand it. So
Actually, hold up.
fucking
Pause for a moment.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about this, breaking that rune might not be a good idea.
To have Lana say, I'm just like, hold on a second.
Yeah, so he's
like Rivera's walking around, something's like, huh, wait a minute, that's not Eidolon magic.
Yeah. Well, I
But
was just like,
Unfortunately, Rivera's next level up. She's got to deal with it up there.
yeah. So like Lana just looks at Ollie, she's like, okay, hold on, wait, stop.
fucking I gotta melt it. Fucking
Okay,
what?
hold on. Last time I checked, when do Eidolons make runes?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
It's
is
probably
something.
not Eidolon magic, but it's some fucking weird shit.
It's something. Well, to be fair, our magic can be described as weird shit. Because it is.
Okay, so what do you want me to do with it?
Just hold on a second. We need to figure out what's happening. And also, I'm so mad at you fuckers.
The fuck? What the fuck for? We left you a note.
You guys left me a one-sentence note after I specifically said, hey, don't leave before I get back with snacks. And what do? You leave. After what just fucking happened.
Well, if we're being honest, did you want them to go without me? He hooks a thumb to himself, and he's like, shrugs. I thought it would be in their best interest.
I mean, you're separated anyway, so...
Well, yeah, but I could take care of myself.
Sure.
And 2 others.
Can you?
Yeah. Kind of confident, kind of not.
See, we're a team for a reason, Ollie.
Okay, well, where's Roz?
Don't... just... Shut up.
That's checkmate. That's checkmate.
He just raises an eyebrow at you.
Leave Roz out
What?
of this, okay? She's resting.
Why, she's part of the fucking team.
Yeah, she is, and I'm trying to get the team back together.
Well, why don't you fucking bring her? Because then we'd be all fucking together right now.
Just
Well,
shut up.
That's
You
double
know.
checkmate.
You fucking... Listen, we're fine. It's just a fucking old house with a bunch of fucking weirdo shit in it. It doesn't matter. It's not like a big fucking deal. There's just some weird shit in the mansion. Like this. And he gestures to all of the runic stuff, and he's like, which I feel like we should do something about. I also want to see if I can draw that purple fucking thing out again.
Purple
like,
thing?
around.
What
Yeah, it's a
purple
short-
thing are you talking about?
How did you not at the fucking door? It's a fucking short, purple, hairy, fucked up, goblin-looking fucking thing. And he's like pantomiming wildly.
Okay, you didn't
Fucking
like
skittering across the floor.
you didn't like see a Furby and have a nightmare about it, did you?
No! What the fuck is a Furby?
Okay, so not a Furby. Okay, so you saw something that's ran off that was small and whatever you just said, Furby-like.
Fuck is a Furby? Just like shaking his head. It was a fucking tiny little witch thing. Like what is it from the fucking one? Like Cousin It, except it had a little bit of a face you could see.
Okay, what did it do?
Well, first off, it's fucking ugly, which is not a good sign. Second, it laughed at me and just skittered away.
Okay,
That's it.
well, if it didn't want you to destroy the rune, it would have attacked you.
Well, yeah, but maybe it was trying to do some fuck shit. I don't know, but not all monsters can fucking go toe to toe, right? So maybe it was trying to get like some kind of upper hand or some shit. Or maybe it was gonna go tell its buddies.
Well, it's probably at a meeting by now. Probably a brunch over coffee. At this point. Okay, so this rune, Rivera just told you that it was a rune and needed to be destroyed. Did you have any idea what it was?
To be fair, she said do something about it, question mark.
Yeah,
And you
that's
told
Ollie.
of all fucking people.
Yeah, exactly. Ollie like shrugs, just goes, "Hey, here's a fucking text," and he shows you the text on his phone.
What does the text say exactly?
It says
Do something
rune
about it.
on wall. Do something about it, question mark.
Yeah, I was like, look, like very
Ollie,
obviously, like, see, this means destroy.
Ollie. Buddy, pal, friend, sort of. You realize that do something about something does not equal destroy, right?
Well, what the fuck she would ask me for?
Because you guys split the fucking group. You were only.
That's not true. Maurice is here.
Maurice is also new and probably wants to explore the asylum with her.
Well, she looks at the text again.
Ollie, you realize that, like, you are not a push button to destroy thing, right? You can do things besides hit stuff and destroy stuff.
She looks at that kind of, like, somewhere between confused and a little, like, flattered, because typically that's just what he assumes people think he is. But he kind of looks at you, looks at the phone, looks back at Lana. Well, fucking, what are we supposed to do about this then? If I can't fucking break it?
Well, there's nothing she can pick up, right? In the room?
I mean, there's a cot, there's a wheelchair, there's kind of the remnants of what looks like a desk.
Alright, nothing in the desk?
There's looks like there's some like bits and pieces of like broken like mirror maybe, and a couple like just chunks of like wall that have fallen onto it, plaster, but nothing beyond that. No.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, it's us here with the magic rune and not, more, magical people. 'Cause one should be sleeping, the other is somewhere in this fucking building, and the third, doesn't understand magic yet, so. Cool. Us. I can't pick anything up from here. What I do know is that, hey, if it wanted you to destroy it, if it didn't want you to destroy it, it'd probably attack you and try to stop you. Probably.
Well, okay, yeah, so he looks up at the rune and around.
So maybe, I know Rivera's old team was here, maybe it's something from them. Maybe it's keeping whatever the fuck is here, not the worst. Or maybe it's fueling them. Who knows? I don't. But I feel like we should figure out what it does before we just go destroying it, or, destroying the rest of it.
Blinks. Okay, well, don't about it. You make your
I think
point.
we have a right to be upset about things.
Well, maybe a little.
A lot, actually. You have no idea what I've seen, huh?
No, you have
Tell
no
about
idea
this
what I've
later.
fucking seen. What the fuck? Like,
Well, you know
throwing his
what,
hands up.
Ollie? We're all gonna have a heart-to-heart later and talk about everything and get on the same page. But first, we have to figure out what's happening here, and then we gotta go home. Yeah, that's the
What?
plan. Where are they?
Fucking upstairs, probably. I don't fucking know. They're on a
Okay.
tour.
They're on a tour. Of course they're on a tour. Okay, Well, frustrating. You've started something here. Gestures to the fucking rune.
Ollie
You
gestures to the
started
part where
something.
it's like he gestures to a part where it's stopping. It's starting to turn back to a silver, and he just goes, "Oh yeah, it looks like it's unstopping me or unstarting me. It's fucking fine. Look, it's just gonna get all cool again and fucking fix itself."
Does it actually look like it's fixing itself, Z?
It is not fixing itself, but it is no longer glowing red.
Well, you started something. It's either this is a thing to protect this place and you've half destroyed it, or this is a thing that is causing the bad things and you've half destroyed it. So it's either we need to repair it or we need to fully destroy it. We don't know which. And depending on what it is, the bad guys have it half destroyed. So this is a predicament. Okay. I have an idea, but I mean, we're not going to figure out what this is. We got to figure out what Maritza and Rivera know and see if they can figure out what this is. And then we can figure out what to do from there, whether we repair it or we fully destroy it. Because right now, this, I don't like it half destroyed. It's.
Ollie opens his mouth to like initially he's about opens his mouth to offer to destroy it the rest of the way, and then thinks better of it and closes his mouth.
Oh, you're learning. Nice.
Fuck off.
Okay, so it's either we both leave it and we go find the others, or one of us stays here and finds the others.
Well, first, tour guide doesn't know you're fucking here, so you should wait here. I'll go up there, get Maritza and Rivera, and fucking figure something out. Maybe I'll distract tour guide or some shit, and then you can get them down here and figure, I don't know, magic it, and just kind of waves his hands towards the room.
Yeah, hopefully they can figure it out.
Yeah, he nods and like puts his hands on his hips, and there's kind of a like puzzled look on his face as he's like thinking about like, oh fuck, this is way more complicated now that you mention it's probably not Eidolon shit. And he kind of scratches the back of his head. Hey, do we have anybody who's particularly mystical, you think?
Roz.
Ollie nods and raises his eyebrows. Well, I'm gonna go get those two. He turns around, starts walking out the room.
Yeah, everything's gonna be fine.
He'll stop at the door and turn around and be like, "Oh, you got your phone, or do you need mine?"
I have my phone.
Right. And he starts a new group text with Lana in it. It's just everybody but Roz now.
I
in that
imagine
chat.
there's already a group chat with everyone, and you guys made your own,
Mhm.
and now you're making a third one.
Yeah, so there's a 5-person group chat, a 3-person group chat, a 4-person group chat. And he doesn't name them. He just has them all listed on his phone as all of the people in alphabetical order based on who's in the chat. So he opens up the chat and then sends a message and just goes, "Lana's here."
Fucking text back. Where is that fucking emoji? I'll send it in the chat. Continue. You'll see it.
Oh. Well, this was going on downstairs. Maritza and Rivera, you've been led upstairs by Mr. Wild, and you can see that where the lower floors are run down, but there has been progress being made. Things are starting to, like, there's fewer sketchy walls and sketchy floors, and you're fairly confident nothing's going to fall on you. You hit the second floor, and there's a clear distinction between what has and has not been properly worked on. And upstairs, the floor itself seems to be, as far as you can tell thus far, pretty structurally sound. But there's more holes in the walls. There's more plaster falling off. There's more sections of the ceiling that are kind of sinking in a little bit. And you see that you have entered into another wing of rooms, where the first wing that you went through had kind of standard doors to them with very large windows that you could see into the room very clearly, and had windows that were not designed to be opened to the outside but were clear. The second wing had, again, fairly standard doors that you could look into the rooms with, but bars over the windows. This one has heavy metal doors on each room. And as you walk past, you can see that the windows into the room are much smaller and are barred, and through the other side, the windows that are in each of the rooms are heavily barred as well. And as he continues down the hallway, kind of like pointing out things and giving some small facts here and there about the area and, you know, the history and the architecture of the building and kind of the different treatments that were being given. Both of you can roll me mystical really fast. As you're walking through, and you're assuming that Ollie is downstairs doing something, since he sent both of you ahead, you can feel the magic in the building kind of start to shift a little. Where there was a lot of it just kind of around, now it feels like it's starting to move. You're not sure how it's moving, but it's beginning to move. And can sense that not only is it moving, but you feel like there's an imbalance starting somewhere. Not sure what the imbalance is, but where you were on questionable but stable magical ground before, it feels like it's starting to become a little less stable. And reveal areas. He walks you through. He points out a kind of general storage room. Oh, that's not gonna do it. And then starts pointing out the other rooms for patients. And you can see, glimpsing through this room, kind of out the window as you kind of step in for a moment, that there is some sort of balcony or outside area that is on the roof of the lower level that seems to be out here. He doesn't mention it. He continues to move on. And these rooms, as you're kind of examining what's inside, they still have a desk in them for several of them. They still have cots, and a couple of them have wheelchairs. But where the cots downstairs were just kind of standard medical beds, you can see that almost all of these still have restraints on them of some sort. And he tells you that these were rooms that were used for some of the patients that were considered to be more of threats to themselves. Perhaps not violent to everybody, but were considered to potentially be able to injure themselves somehow. And he eventually leads you down to the end of the hallway and double checks his notes on a little notepad that he's been carrying around and points you towards the room down in the corner of just kind of with a little sigh. And I believe this room here was the one that the Miss Dorothy Crowell was in. She was considered, she somehow was found many times having burn-like injuries, even though she so they isolated her in this area. She didn't make it out of the asylum, unfortunately, though. She passed away while here. Yeah, as far as they can tell, it was likely of some sort of stroke or aneurysm or something, but this was the room she was in almost the entire time.
Question above table.
Yes.
The glimpse the truth ability or whatever, is that mystical in nature or is that more investigative in nature?
Let me see here.
It's a
It's
roll plus
dork.
mental.
It's a plus mental, so it's a little bit more investigative. But you can try to see, like, if you roll well with it, you might be able to pick up something mystical. It just depends on what you're trying to do.
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, when she goes in the room, like, trying to look for, I mean, not a note necessarily, but something that maybe she left purposefully or positioned purposefully.
Well,
on the wall.
A rune on the wall.
you're all, if you go into the room, you should understand, I'm assuming, the pattern of entering the rooms. If as far as like placing things, as far as like beds and things, you would all know very easily that because this is a rundown old building, everything has probably been moved as far as furniture. If you roll well on the mystical that you have to roll entering these rooms, and you want to try and roll a mental for something else, you can try. But as you two step into the room, roll me mystical. Okay. So, as the two of you kind of step into this room, much like the other two, you're immediately hit with this sensation of magic, but this time it's hot. It's almost like stepping into a sauna, is what it feels like. And you glance around, and both of you see on one of the walls, just like downstairs, a very large rune taking up one of the walls that is glowing just a deep fiery red. And it fades from your vision the longer you stare at it. And Rivera,
Yes.
you see another vision of Dorothy in just smiling and laughing in her teacup dress. And it is a bright hot pink in color. And she's seemingly responding to something that's happening behind you. But as she is laughing and just kind of like doubling over and trying to catch her breath, you can see just almost smoke coming out of her nose and mouth. She doesn't seem concerned about. And you kind of look over your shoulder for a brief moment and see the rest of the team all laughing as well. You don't remember what it is, but you look back to Dorothy and she's coming towards you and she's pats you on the shoulder and you feel just the heat from her hand going down your arm as she's passing by you. And just like with the other two, as she passes by, you're suddenly somewhere else, seeing a woman with just fiery red hair in a red armor walking by, this time not smiling, not laughing, seemingly very focused on something. And for a brief moment, you kind of look past and you notice that the sky is purple. And the vision fades.
But Rivera's not an idiot. So two runes. She messages, whatever you're doing down there, stop, and she bolts that.
As that comes in after Ollie takes his phone back and then sees like, oh, well.
And Mr. Wild just kind of, it's like nervously finger tapping against the wall as he's just kind of letting both of you look around, trying to be semi-respectful. And as you kind of turn back towards the doorway, he just rubs the back of his neck and is like, this is, well, the history of this place gets a little worse from this point forward. Just as a warning. It's not pleasant moving forward. So are you sure you want to continue?
She nods.
And he looks at Maritza. And then there's a pause and a furrowed brow. He starts looking around. Where was the gentleman?
He said he wanted a smoke break, so I believe he was going outside.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if he went outside, that's not a problem. I'm assuming just let him know that since there's no one to show him around, maybe don't wander. He can just
I'll tell him that now.
just sit in my office if he's done with his smoke break.
I'll tell him that. I'll tell him I told him you went out for a smoke break.
Ollie, like, halfway up the steps behind the door, like, ow. He looks back to Lana and then just shrugs, like,
Yeah, and that's right about the time that, as you send that, is the point where Ollie has sent you guys, Lana's here. So both of your phones ping, like, oh shit, she's here now.
Uh-oh.
Lana's only response is the fucking Larry face I sent in chat.
I don't think Rivera even bothers responding.
ah, good. More allies have come to help and not be mad at us, right?
Right?
Alana has priorities. So is
And
Lana in this group chat?
Yes.
at this point, yes, you are all
The
in
new one.
a group chat together.
Okay. Probably messages on stopped Ollie from breaking this weird rune. We don't know what it does. So you're welcome.
As he walks back down the hallway of this wing, you see that the door to the hallway beyond is standing completely open, where the others he still had to open and unlock. This door has not been repaired and is like half off its hinges, just hanging open. And he walks through and leads you down another hallway into what looks like another open room. However, this one, ignoring what you see on the map for this one, seems to be almost a medical theater. With several tables with restraints along one wall and kind of places for seating along the other wall. And down closer to a large set of kind of bay windows, you see what's probably a conference table for talking amongst the doctors and nurses, and a set of floor to ceiling windows that look out over let me stop talking so that I can actually focus on getting this revealed. Looks out over a balcony, and the balcony itself looking out further over the property. And as you enter into this main room, swap to this. Maritza and Rivera, roll me mystical again.
Mystical powers activate.
Alright. That distinct impression of watching much closer. So feel cool coming from the direction of the balcony. And with those being partial successes, yep. Roll me mental as well.
The two of us.
Yes.
Mental. Okay.
It's absolutely mental.
Rivera, you also click on what I want you to click on, Roll20. Thank you. You also kind of catch a glimpse of something out of the corner of your eye that seems to skitter up the staircase on the far end of the room. You do see the staircase that is up here, much sketchier than the one that you were on before, leading up to another level. There seems to have been something on the stairs that just disappears up. You don't see anything beyond the movement.
Well, now we can do about that. Yeah, I'll just say like there's something here. Like I'll text it, obviously.
Ollie responds, "Is it the purple witch thing?"
You just get a question mark.
I saw a purple witch thing. These are just texts coming back. It was short, and it skittered around, and it watched me scribble some of the rune. But
She
it
says,
disappeared.
Maybe.
Oh, where is it?
Oh, it's gone now.
Fuck.
Should we chase it?
Oh,
Probably not.
and as you guys are having this text conversation back and forth, Mr. Wild is continuing.
Yeah, we're following
And-
him on. So.
Well, he has kind of stopped here and is just kind of talking about the room and tells you all that this is a room that was having experimental procedures done. That it is where some of the first lobotomies at the asylum were performed. And was considered a place for learning as well. A lot of the psychologists, psychiatrists, those who cared for the quote-unquote insane of the time period, and especially in this area of the country, a lot of them came here to try and learn. And to learn the newest procedures, to learn the newest methods. And motions towards the restraining tables tells you that these were tables that were 100% original. These are the very first that were put in and were kept there through the entire history of this building. And seems to be both uncomfortable with the notions that he is trying to present, but also excited about the history of it. And that weird balance of a history nerd.
Was this a prominent learning center then?
For this area, for the early 1900s, yes, it started to decline after a time. There was enough institutions like this around that you just kind of went to learn at wherever you wanted to work. But since this was one of the first of that kind, for a period, it was considered the best place. You still went to actual universities and colleges and such to actually get your degrees, of course, but when you were trying to specialize in this, people would come here for 6 months, a year. There was a fair amount of rotation amongst the staff because of that.
Okay.
I mean, the prominent doctors that founded it and stayed here, if you wanted to stay here, you stayed here. But I'd say at least half, 60% of the staff were people that were only here for a certain amount of time before they moved on because they were here to learn and get, I guess, a kind of a stamp on their resume, I guess you could say, of having worked here and learned practices from here.
Makes sense, yeah.
And as he starts moving again and starts walking towards the other side of the room, towards another, which you can tell is going to be a hallway to another set of rooms, you can see that this door is probably the most secure out of all the doors. And there's still a sign that hangs above the door that is labeled dangerous patients. And he kind of puts his hand on one of the heavy metal handles to the door, and you see his finger kind of tapping it for a second. And he looks back towards you, Rivera, and just kind of seems to think very hard for a moment. And why is this not deleting? There we go. You said that you were related to Miss Day, correct?
No, it's
Well, her room is here. She was labeled as the most dangerous to herself and others out of the entire group of young women that came in. He kind of glances towards the table that he was talking about earlier. She had some of the procedures that were experimental done on her. I don't know if she was ever able to tell you anything. I don't know when she might have passed for you. But she may have been the one that had it the worst here. And he's kind of slowly starts to open the door, and you can see him having to put a lot of his weight and strength behind sliding this door open. And beyond it, you see another long hallway leading into another wing of rooms. And inside each of these rooms are just a single cot, or the remains of a single cot, all with the bindings still attached. There is no desk. The windows themselves are not even standard windows with bars on them. They are windows that are set high into the walls and recessed and are designed to let light in at the highest point of the day at noon, but are so small that a person would not be able to get out, even attempt to get out. And the air itself, as both of you walk in, the air itself is heavy. And you can feel it weighing down on you both. And he proceeds down lower in the wing and stops beside a room. Just kind of motion toward, and the hinges of the door to this room hang completely empty. There is no more door here. You can see the scratch marks remaining on the tile where this door swung open and closed. And inside you see a single bed against one of the walls that is half broken, kind of laying lopsided, one of its both of its feet towards the end of the bed gone, just remaining with the headboard end up. And the mattress itself is gone, and you can see just the heavy black straps that remain on the frame of this cot. And as he points inside, he just kind of nods. This from the records I found, was her room from day number 1. How much did she tell you about this place? Did she tell you about this place?
She told me she spent some time here, but whenever she tried to recall memories of this place, it was very fuzzy, and she couldn't really remember stuff that happened here.
He nods slightly, and there's just like this furrowed brow. Maybe a good thing for her part. They all thought they were angels of some sort, I think. At least from the records that we have, or I've seen thus far. There may be more, I just haven't been able to locate them and go through them yet. But she was insistent, more so than any of them, of the apocalypse coming. Saying that there were monsters and devils and demons that were going to come and destroy everything, and then that one of her and her friends were protectors, of course, but that one of them was missing. They never wrote down who she said was missing, but that somebody was missing. And she was adamant enough about it that she fought nearly every therapy that they tried to put her under, and got injured in the process, including, from what I understand, giving quite a few black eyes and bloody noses to some orderlies that were working here at the time. Probably, honestly, deservedly so, but because of her violence, she was, within a week of coming here, put in almost complete isolation. And just kind of motions towards the room. Other than to come out for procedures, this was her room for years.
Her has like a mix of emotions from like how dare they to fuck him up to
And
she just wonders and looks around.
right, mysticals for both of you. Hey, Mirza.
Oh, it finally happened.
As both of you enter, the energy in this room, at first, it's almost like there isn't magic. And it's just long enough that you're like, are we sure this is where we're supposed to be? And then you just feel that weight that has been on you since you entered into this particular wing get twice as heavy. And kind of goosebumps go up both of your arms. Though not cold, but more unease. And as you're looking around, it's already dark in the room. The at the point of the day that you're in, the very small window that's the only source of light is not quite enough to keep the room from being heavily shadowed. But as you're looking around, both of you can swear that there's more shadows than there should be in this room. That they have a weight to them, a presence to them. And you look to the wall, you see a rune there. But where the first one was silvery, the second one was almost fiery. This one just looks like pure blackness marked into the wall, almost like it's somebody has carved into the wall, and the carving is so deep that you can't see the bottom. And it hangs there for a moment before it disappears. And much fainter than the other two, a vision comes to you, Rivera. Not where you're completely blind to the moment, but almost ghostly, layering over reality in front of you. You see the form that you see in the mirror, a blonde woman, but rather than being clean and put together, she looks like she has been run ragged. Hair chopped extremely short, face gaunt, skin a little too pale for comfort. And she's just sitting on the bed, staring at the wall, at the rune on the wall. And as you kind of watch her, she doesn't move. The only thing that lets you know that she's alive is the slow rise and fall of her shoulders with her breathing. And then she turns in your direction, and for a moment she seems to be searching until her eyes land on you and seem to focus in. And there's just a slow inhale of breath. She holds it for a moment. She smiles. And you hear that voice that you start to remember more and more of. Just this very quiet, very faint. See that you made it. And then the vision disappears.
Rivera just closes her eyes for a moment, and she kind of like walks over to where that rune was, and she kind of just like puts her hand on the wall, like feeling for it. Kind of closes her eyes again. She's like, "Yeah, I'm here."
You said you're going to the rune?
Yeah, I'm going to the rune, and I'm like putting my hand on it, like just on the wall, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm here now."
And you slide your hand across the wall. As soon as your fingers touch where the rune is, it comes back into view, and you can see your fingers almost seem to react. The magic in you is reacting to the rune. And you have a moment of just kind of watching as this rune lights up, seeming to fade almost under your touch. And you remember, she was darkness. You were the light.
And nods. And so she is the most dangerous because she just refused to deny it all until the end.
Are you asking that to Mr. Wild?
Yeah.
And he nods slowly. She was the most combative, verbally and physically. I've seen notes in some of the records regarding her. I'm still looking for something that might explain it more, but they kind of claimed she was a witch on top of everything. I mean, not
Marita giggles.
there's not witch hunts during this time period, thank God, but the superstitions were still strong. I don't know why they would say she is. She never seems to claim she is. I'm working on that.
Hmm. Yeah, I never heard anything about her describing herself as a witch, so that's new.
He just kind of shrugs slightly. To be fair, claiming you're an angel does not help, number one, but also the atmosphere of places like this around the country, I think, got to some of the staff. So sometimes they probably needed a little bit of help too, if we're being honest. But if I find anything in the records, I'll be sure to send it your direction, or at least regarding that. I can't promise anything, but
I was trying to do some very quick mental math. Considering showing this guy a little magic, to be honest.
What was the girl's name again? It was Ethel, Dorothy, and
the
I
old
mean,
pictures, the old picture thing has all of their names listed.
gotcha.
like this, he seems like a very nice truth seeker person, so
Yeah,
I kind of want to shine some light on him.
he is doing his best.
He is doing his best, and I am proud of him.
And he just kind of nods slightly. There is another section to the building if you would like to see it. It's the room where the head of the institute stayed during his tenure. He actually chose to live on premises so that he could be notified of anything. It's just a bedroom and bathroom, really, upstairs, but it is the last part of the tour if you'd like to see it.
Sure, I'll
If
see
not,
the whole thing.
he
Unless
nods.
you really think there's nothing for us there, which I understand.
He just kind of shrugs slightly. You're here for your grandmother, so I mean, she would not have been up there as far as I know.
Okay.
But
We don't
it's up
have
to you.
then. Yeah, we don't have to then. Um, so Rivera goes to text to the group chat I'm gonna talk to this researcher about us.
What? Where have Lana and Ollie been during this time?
That's up to you guys. Because you
Alright,
said that
I'll
Ollie
say
was
I'm
heading up the
considering.
stairs. Ollie was
Yeah.
heading up the stairs and was told that the guy was told you were on a smoke break. So that would
Okay.
be Ollie's decision and Lana's decision if she wanted to just camp out in the room on the first floor.
Oh, well, I know what I want. want to do, or what Ollie would think to do, and that's to go look for that fucking purple thing, but he has no idea where to look. Because it just vanished.
I mean, if you want him to have wandered around, he could have.
Unless Lana has a better idea or has something else that she would want to do, because Ollie would not want to split up because it's just going to make Lana more pissed off.
Well, someone needs to stay at the half-finished rune, whether we need to finish destroying it or we need to protect it from being destroyed. So she'd be parking her ass there and just filling in Roz via text message about this entire fucking situation. So that's where she is. Ollie can go where the fuck he wants. Lana doesn't care anymore.
Ollie will wait and wander up and down the hall that is on the first floor of that room, and just peek around, poke his nose around, and look at other areas. So long as he's out of the way of whoever is working or maintaining the area.
Yeah.
Just kind of snoop, but otherwise not leave that area.
Roll me either a mental or a mystical. Roll me another mystical as well, Lana. Okay.
Yeah. I will tell you,
Oh.
Joe, now that she's on the premises, Lana doesn't care what the fuck you do. She can catch you wherever the fuck you go. Like, she will be there very quickly in a matter of seconds. So, he's free to do whatever the fuck.
So, Lana, you're there. You're the longer you're in the room, the more you get that impression of that kind of cold, like, wall of magic that you are in. And you do get the distinct impression of, like, and this is magic that seems to have permeated this room specifically. Ollie, as you're wandering around, you see that these rooms over here, because we did not, Mr. Wild did not necessarily talk about them in the tour. There's a storage room, and then seems to be kind of nurse rooms for them to, like, kind of crash during their shift, and maybe some of the overnight nurses and such to actually, like, sleep in. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly interesting as you're going back through and by some of these rooms until you hit the room that has all the filing cabinets and books in it. It's by far the room that has been the most updated and the most preserved. Very clearly them trying to find a place to put everything that they're finding and keep it on premises without it risking damage. As you kind of open the door and kind of poke your head in and look around, you do see a
Purple thing?
brief movement from the other side of the room. Seemingly down the side of a bookcase.
I go all the way into the room and shut the door behind me.
So you end
Not
up
getting away this time, motherfucker.
in this room. And as you close the door and just kind of stand there for a second, you hear the distinct sound of something skittering along tile and wood. Something with a lot of legs.
Okay. I'm gonna want to get into a semi-combat stance and prepare for something to try and run and jump and try to maybe fuck around so that Ollie can be the find out.
So you're summoning your guitar and everything?
You know what? Yeah. He was gonna go bare-fisted but there's no reason he wouldn't guitar it. He doesn't care. Like, nobody's looking.
So you stand there, and you hear this movement, but the movement doesn't seem to be approaching you. And then you hear movement from the other side of the room. And they both seem to just be moving. And then you're kind of looking between back and forth from these two sounds on either corner. And then you look directly in front of you and up to the bookcase. And at the very top of the bookcase, you see what looks to be a book come to life.
A book?
Just a massive tome of some sort, perhaps a patient register, that just starts to shift, first scooting one way and then the other on the shelf. And then you see the binding slowly open, and what looks like teeth form as legs start to come out from underneath it. And it just lifts up and stands, and you see the book's mouth open. And you have the distinct impression that it is looking at you. And it just goes and skitters vertically down the bookcase, disappearing behind filing cabinets.
Okay. Ollie nods twice. And he's very carefully measuring his reaction speed, and he's going to open the door, move out, and close it as fast as he can, like just one fluid movement, like chink, get around it and slam it shut, and then put his back to it. Make sure that no books get out. But he wants to be on the other side of the door.
You can do that.
Okay. So he flips around. He's now in the hall, back to the door, and one hand, left hand holding his guitar neck, right hand pulling out his phone, and he's texting the group frantically, like, I found book eidolons, that they're kind of spidery.
Where are you?
Rivera, are you engaging? Question mark.
He sends to Lana, left, then right, out of the door.
Oh, like on my way. OMW.
Yeah, and then to Rivera, he will respond with, not yet. Because he's like, once Ollie starts to engage in a fight, it is going to be noticeable. So he's
Rivera's like, hold up, I'll prime him before chaos.
Lana,
good luck,
get on
I guess.
Control. Lana, already on it. On my way.
So yeah, you leave the room, Lana. You make it very quickly to Ollie, and as both of you kind of look back through the glass of this door, you can now see that there's at least two of these things that have climbed up on top of the filing cabinets that are kind of lining and creating rows within the room itself. And they just seem to be minding their own business for the most part. You're not quite sure what they're doing. They're just seemingly moving around. They're not heading towards the door, and they also don't seem to care about either of you.
Ollie is just looking at it with, like, somewhere between, like, childlike wonder of, like, ooh, creature I don't know, and ew, bug, must squish. And he looks at Lana and just kind of shrugs, just goes, well, do I fucking smash it?
No.
He looks at Lana and then looks back at the book bugs and then looks at Lana and says, do you want to try?
No. Hold on. Look, Ollie, I think you're missing something here. Do you not
well,
remember the video call Rivera had where we saw this big ass creepy hand? There's something here, and we have to pick and choose our battles, especially when we're split up. Like, we're split up like 3 times, because like Roz isn't here, Roz is hopefully sleeping. So we can't just fight every little thing we find. And right now, they're vibing. Sort of, if they can vibe. I don't know what that is.
fuck if I know what it is, but are we just gonna leave it like this? Is that the plan?
Well, until they start fucking shit up, I don't see a reason to start shit, especially when, as far as I can tell, Rivera and Maritza aren't done with the tour and finding out everything they can. Once we figure out everything, we can regroup and figure out what to do next. But
So,
I feel like if we just go in swinging, we're gonna attract a lot of attention, probably get kicked out by the workers here, probably awaken whatever it is that's here, or at least spurred into action, because it's probably awake. Do you not feel like you're being watched? Anyway, yeah, probably just, spurred into action when we have no idea where it is or what it is. So, I think we just wait and see what information the other two get. And then from there, make a plan, and then probably, save the day.
looks back in the window and kind of grimaces and just goes, "All right, well, let's give it a wait." What's that gonna happen?
You can get a paper cut, probably. Those things are bugs, right? Paper
Fuck
cuts
if
are
I know.
fucking bitches.
And we cut back to the two on the second floor.
I'm sorry. Anna is quite literally on the Ollie smash? No.
Ollie's looking
Don't
at it like,
smash.
I don't know if we should smash, but I feel like I should ask now.
Yeah, just like, you can always smash later. Once you smash, you cannot go back.
Yeah, so I think we should talk to this guy about what's really going on. And by
Like,
talk, I mean show, so we don't seem like we're insane ourselves.
okay, counterpoint. What happens when he reacts negatively and we get committed?
He's gonna have to commit himself because he's gonna be the one seeing shit, for starters.
Remember, humans don't really process.
Different now, right?
No, they still don't
Well,
really process what we do as
they-
magical girls.
They see it, but they don't always mimic it, is the issue.
Right.
This dude was in all of the rooms that had giant wall-sized runic symbols on them. So
So it'd be pointless then?
I don't know if it would be pointless, but I don't know if he'd be able to understand it or wrap his tiny brain around the concept of, like, by the way, all of these people were right, because then it would awaken him to the horrors of what they did.
Which I kind of want to do that. So
And on top of that, what do we gain from telling him?
he
Yeah.
could look at things with an objective eye, because some things in the records he might not be paying attention to because he's like, huh, that's mumbo jumbo.
You could just ask to see the records.
That would be my thing, is like, maybe we could see the records. They might not particularly care because it's old information.
And you are a
Hey,
relative.
Mr. Wild, can we take a look at the records?
You're also a relative, though.
True.
You're next to kin, so.
Yeah. Could I maybe see my grandmother's records?
And I don't know if Rivera asking if I can do this, but I would at least like to help with the convince someone check.
I mean, if Rivera is asking specifically about Irene's records, then
Yeah.
she technically has a right to the records.
Yeah.
So if you actually asked him, could I see her
Yeah.
records? He just kind of like slowly nods. I can show you what I've found thus far. I mean, I've told you most of it, but they're all down at my desk. And he starts leading you guys back the long way around, very clearly not wanting to go anywhere near the sketchy stairs on this side of the building. And back through the main room where, as you're entering through the kind of medical theater room, you don't see anything on the stairs again. You do feel that magic once more, but he's now moving with a purpose back around the building to go downstairs.
I'm gonna quickly tell Ollie, go outside.
Ollie like goes, what? Starts walking outside. Fucking, he will immediately start pulling out a cigarette and a lighter.
Sees this message and she's like, "What?"
And
Because this was, you guys shared this information on the other group chat. She's like,
Oh, yeah.
"What?" We're like upstairs. We'll meet you guys.
He like just to the cigarette and just goes, smoke break, and starts to jog. Just he has to beat them outside, so he'll run out and around the corner, just push through the doors, push through the next set of doors, and then skid to a halt like right here.
I know Lana should not be in the hallway, but no one has told her to leave.
Yeah, it's fine.
As Mr. Wild steps down, going downstairs, steps through the door, heading back to his little office area, he turns, sees you standing there, just kind of freezes and blinks, and then the slow furrowing of a brow. What? I'm sorry.
Never met
This
this woman
is
in my
private.
life.
This is
Who's
actually
who?
private
I don't see anyone.
property. You need to leave, ma'am.
Oh no!
Never met the woman in my life.
Mr. Wild, are you okay?
Yeah. Just like, you guys, I know Lana should have ran
Oh,
with
I get
Ollie,
it.
but no one communicated shit to her at all. Ollie could have dragged her with him. Like, nope.
Well, Ollie was like, "I'm on a smoke break. I don't know what your excuse is."
Oh my
He knows his
Are we
cover
gonna
story.
gaslight him? Are we gonna gaslight him? Reach the
No.
second
That
plan?
was gonna be what I
Ollie-
tried.
Lana, just like, well, he turns around. What does he say to her?
Say, who are you? This is actually private property, ma'am. I think. Why? I think you need to
Oh.
leave.
Hi. She like turns, like, smile on face, holding out her hand. Hi, you're Mr. Wild, right? I'm friends with Rivera. I was supposed to join the tour, but I kind of got held up with a car. You know, Uber.
Are we still gonna gaslight him? Because I'm down for that.
That's way. I don't think like knocking him out is as good a solution. And Ollie's
I
already.
mean, obviously, we could just let her do that and just
Yeah,
have her join
just
us.
do the Lana,
Like-
do the Lana thing, do the charmy thing.
I just trust. I don't know if you guys heard me or not.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
heard
me too,
you.
yeah.
But there's
We're
just
just
chaos of
wondering-
like 5 different people trying to do 5
Yeah.
different things right now, so I need to know what exactly is happening.
Yeah. We're wondering if we should acknowledge Lana's existence or go.
You don't get a choice in that. Lana introduced herself.
Yeah.
I mean, Maritza's
Lana-
not
We
acknowledging.
cannot
her presence,
acknowledge her,
but...
though. Yeah. No, the idea that Cody was saying is that we could gaslight him into thinking that you're a ghost and just not acknowledge you.
Why? Why would you do? That's so much more complicated. Plus, Lana already introduced herself. Just gaslight him into thinking like, oh yeah, we meant to say 3 when we came, or we meant to say 4 instead of 3. Teehee.
To be fair, we probably told him that a whole group was going.
Yeah.
Well, we
you know,
did
the
say
group
we were
of us.
talking with somebody about an Uber, so it's not unreasonable.
So yeah, Z, cue charming smile from Lana introducing herself. saying that she got held up, but she was supposed to be part of the tour.
I need to
And
get
he
a
just like looks over his
tooth
shoulder
shine.
to look at towards Maritza and Rivera, just like
Yeah,
confusion.
remember we were mentioning problems with an Uber on our way in?
Maurice's just looking at the wall.
And you, I've been very I've tried to be very, very helpful here, but you thought it was good to just walk into questionable asylum and just start wandering around without anybody? He looks back towards Lana.
Well, the door's right there. It's not that far, and I mean, the building just looks magnificent. It doesn't really look that dangerous. At least from what I can tell. I'm not gonna go into a place that's like, crumbling. Like, over there, I'm not gonna go there. But, 10 feet away from the door, trying to see if I can spot you guys, see if I can join the tour. I mean, I didn't want to cause any trouble.
What about... Where's the other one?
Ollie's just standing outside. He still has his guitar, so he's smoking and plucking strings on it.
I don't want to get rid of that.
The other one?
They said another one. What? There's... He just kind of looks between everybody and does this, like, open arm gesture for everybody to move in front of him.
Oh,
And he
okay,
starts
you know what?
shepherding everybody out.
Everybody out, I assume.
Yeah, he stops. He lets you. He doesn't like move to like get you all out of the asylum, but he stops in the main room and just holds up a finger and then goes and walks through the entry hall to poke his head out and spot Ollie. Nod to himself, turn to go back in, turn back around to see Ollie has a guitar now that he did not have before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's like facing away from the building, just looking this way, and he's very intently like strumming his, like poking a string on his guitar or plucking a string, like takes a drag of a cigarette,
Bombs.
kind of like tuning it, just like this totally normal.
And he's just like, you can see him open his mouth, close his mouth, kind of lick his lips for a second, open his mouth again, shake his head, go back inside, and look towards everybody, and just like, okay, everybody can come into my office. I will get you your records, and then I think it might be a good time to call it an evening. And he goes into his little office area. You can see just stacks of old books and papers and files all over the place, and his little like laptop and tablet that he's using connected to what looks like a little tiny generator in the corner of his office that he's using to keep everything powered in here. And flipping through things and very clearly sorting what he has, that he seems to be focusing on 2 or 3 piles in particular, which you assume very quickly is related to what you've asked of him. But he begins sorting things, and you realize that he is looking specifically for things about Irene. And only pulling those out. And ends up with a little book. A book that you realize is probably medical notes about her from some doctor. And then a pile of papers. And he just kind of lifts them up and sets them down in front of you on the desk. Says, you can start looking through those. I'll scan them for you, but as soon as the scanning is done, I think it's a good time to just call it an evening. You can contact me again with any questions you might have.
I'm sorry that if we caused you any trouble. I do really appreciate the tour.
He just...
Did we see everything?
Yeah, we saw everything. Well, I mean, we didn't see the head, but we didn't really need to.
He just like, slowly nods. The only thing left in the asylum would have been the rooms for the head of the asylum. on the 3rd floor. But no trouble. I think it's just it's kind of dangerous to have people wandering around that are not necessarily supposed to be here, without somebody guiding them through. And he kind of looks towards Lana and looks back down.
Oh, the reason this asylum shut down, was it just time, or did something happen?
A bit of both, I guess. He's got this like little portable scanner hooked up to his laptop that you see him start to like grab what he can and scan. And it's very kind of methodical. You can tell that he's done this before and he seems to have a process. And it's going relatively quickly. It's still a stack to get through, but it's going relatively quickly. Of course, as time went on and people began to realize exactly what's going on with person's mental health, and opinions changed about asylums and institutions. This place lost a lot of its popularity and almost all of its funding. In addition to that, the head of the institute that founded it passed away and never quite got the steam back once he left. And as more institutions opened up, the teaching portion of it just kind of fizzled out. There was we're not quite sure what exactly. People said it was a fire, but there's no evidence of any actual fires or fire damage to the building. But there was an incident that apparently resulted in a couple of deaths of patients at some point. Unfortunately, about a dozen patients. Not any way to prove it necessarily, but my bet would be improperly stored gases and such for certain. They have just leaked and combined and perhaps flooded one of the wings. And when you have that many patients that pass away at once, even if they're not ones that had, people notice.
Did that happen?
This being the institutionalization of your friends?
Yeah.
He kind of tilts his head. He seems to be doing the mental math, just kind of pausing in his scanning for a moment. And mental math. Maybe about 20-ish years. Your friends were your grandmother and her friends were admitted in early 19 teens, and this was early 30s-ish. A place was bought in with the intention of some renovations happening at one point, but it just never took off. Lack of funding and support. An orphanage, but probably a good thing that kids weren't just stuck in this building. Yeah. Places sometimes have memories, you know?
Yeah, I get that. Besides my grandmother, were any of her friends released ever?
And he kind of glances at his notebook that he's been carrying around. Well, Elizabeth was eventually released. Dorothy did pass away here. Irene also was released. Ethel we have records that she got transferred to another asylum, so I don't know what happened to her after that. There's an asylum closer to her family, I believe. I've not found a whole lot about Ruth, unfortunately, Miss Whitmore. We're still trying to search for more specifics about her.
So I'm looking through this documents. There is actually something very important that he wouldn't think to talk to us about, and that's what happened to her afterwards, like where she was released to. Because I can't ask that.
As you're looking for that, for Irene, it looks like she just was released to a family member of some sort.
I'll take that family member's name and mentally make a note of it.
All it says is a brother.
Because that might be
There is no name attached to it.
brother. Damn it. Of course.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you essentially have going down the list, like, make sure that you all have the knowledge for it. Of Elizabeth Day was the one that Rivera looked like. And she was survived, released to a brother. Ethel last records that they had, Ethel Rapin was last records was alive, was shifted to another hospital. She was the one that was known to have some wealthy family. So she was given a little bit of a leash, and it's a little more vague about and more careful about what they're saying about her. Irene King was also released, it sounds like, earlier than Elizabeth was. However, as you are not family, you're not being given any documents about her. They don't know what happened to Ruth. They're still trying to find information about her. And she is also the one that you were not led to a room for in the tour. And then Dorothy died on the second floor.
And Elizabeth was the one who was incredibly violent.
According to them, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's nothing else, I think we should just head out.
Yeah, that's... I mean, I don't know what else could be found here, but I think that's most of it, if not all of it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to fight books.
No.
That's
let's
the
probably
other thing.
no.
Do we
Yeah.
just... What about the rune?
Yeah, they're not quite sure what they are. They're books. There's a creature that Ollie saw that he's lost track of. There was the creature that you saw on the video that you've not seen any signs of.
So I'll tell you what I think. I think they let themselves go into the asylum to seal something up, and then it sort of backfired and they couldn't leave, at least for a while. And then maybe at some point during transit, that's when I went missing. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I could reasonably think about.
Okay. Unless we want to actually actively do something about the ruins or the monsters or the tiny short witch, as Ellie has called it.
I'm not crazy.
If we do anything about that, it needs to be later.
Exactly. I don't think there's anything to do now. Z, could Lana have just like copied down what was left of the rune since she was vibing there for a while?
Yeah. Yeah, you could have done that.
Okay. Or picture. Whichever works.
Oh yeah, we're in the modern age. We can fucking take pictures of stuff.
Not always.
Oh, not really. Sometimes
Well-
Z said sometimes magic gets all,
Yeah, you would not have been
photo-esque.
with how that rune is. Essentially, it takes magic to the presence of other magic to light it up. So you can't just snap a picture of it sitting in the room.
Gotcha.
Okay. So she could have copied it down though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The parts of it that Ollie had not melted off by the time you made it there.
Yep.
All right, look, you make it sound like it was Ollie's idea. He was just helping out, trying to follow orders. Sorta.
See, whereas that was a two-way bad decision. Ollie got orders from Rivera, and Rivera gave orders to Ollie.
I didn't give orders. I gave a question mark.
What do you call it?
I call it question mark.
Do something about it is not a question. Even if you put a question mark
With
on
a
it.
question mark, it's a should we? Like, I think that's implied.
So as as Mr. Wild seems to finish up with the scanning, he makes a point very clearly to let you see that he has emailed you the scans of everything. And just kind of slowly takes whatever papers you have in your hand back from you and just puts them on the the pile. And just looks around and gives a small nod. And says, if there's nothing else, pleasure having you here. It's nice to see that there's some people that are interested, even with the things that happened here, but interested in this place. If you have any questions, just you know how to get in touch with me. And he starts shepherding all of you very carefully, very plainly, I don't want to touch any of you. I'm trying to be nice and professional, but get the fuck out.
Alright. Solana is leading the way out.
Walk outside, Ollie holding his guitar under one arm, and just, well, for those fucking things. Wait for the guy to get out of earshot before I say that. Sorry.
Yeah, he stands in the doorway essentially of all you left, and watches all of you until you get past the gate to the property, and then you see him just kind of shake his head very slightly, and then step back and close the door.
A little annoyed that he just had to watch us that whole time, but Ollie doesn't make anything of it.
Well, the Uber should be here in a couple minutes, so...
What we do about fucking the books and whatnot. All that shit.
If we do something about it, it'll have to be at night, when these guys aren't around.
Well, we have to figure out what to do first.
Well, what are the odds that they're, with the rune? Or, not bad, or whatever.
Working guess, I think my old group had to let themselves get put in here in order to seal that stuff up. It's my working guess, but it makes sense.
Right about that time is when there is an Uber that is maybe a little too small to have 4 people in it, but you guys are gonna have to make it work. Pulls up the building because nobody told anybody that it needed to be an XL Uber.
It's fine. We got enough. We got enough room.
Squish.
Yeah, so somebody's
Bonding
gonna be squished in the back.
Team bonding.
Team bonding. I mean, technically, Lana can just run. She'll just need to crash as soon as she gets back.
Just this like
Squish.
very clearly like college student off on a break, just trying to earn an extra couple bucks, like in the front seat, just staring at all of you for a second. Looks around at his car, small sigh, and just motions all of you to get in. And then you guys start heading back to the city into the hotel. You can have your conversation with this mildly perturbed Uber driver if you would like, or if you could wait until the hotel.
Yeah, let's
Go
just
into the
go.
hotel. Lana has.
I would
gathered
just
all
like
the
to ask the
fucking
Uber driver what they desire most.
I didn't know you were Lucifer.
I'm glad somebody else thought of the same
I
thing.
know, I was thinking it too.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Very increasingly concerned Uber driver as this
Ignore
ride
her,
goes
she's
on.
drunk. Ignore her, she's drunk.
Okay. Let's music, and he just like music. It turns on music and kind of cranks it up, not so loud that it's like overpowering, but just loud enough to where it's like not easy to have conversation necessarily, not pleasant to have conversation. Then you guys make it all the way back to the hotel, as such, with his Uber driver like music shield that he is using.
All right.
Roz, you have been up for most of this at this point, getting random updates from Lana, and no one else.
And from Maritza, actually.
And from Maritza, okay.
Maritza's
Oh,
been privately texting this entire time, providing updates.
I wanted to say, I forgot to mention this way back when, but Lana at some point said, Roz is sleeping, something, like during the middle of that confrontation. After that calmed down a little bit, Ollie would have sent a text to Roz that just says, wake up.
I said Roz is hopefully sleeping.
Yeah, and that's why he would have, or yeah, and he probably would have, he would still send a text that says, wake up, because he's like, you can't sleep, we're doing stuff. He has no idea why you would be sleeping.
He has no idea about what the fuck her and Lana just went through. Probably.
None idea.
Yeah. So fucking get to hotel. You know, Lana's not. She's not like racing to the hotel room, but she's walking. She's leading the pack. She's walking pretty fast. How's Roz doing?
Roz has the TV on a random channel and has like one of the notepads on the side, and it's just like scribbling on it, trying to kind of draw some of the visions she was having.
Did Rivera share all of that info that on the tour was given?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
Though Rivera would have to share any of the visions that she might have had, because she's the only one that saw those. You all sense the
Those
magic.
she
She is
doesn't.
the only one that she's the only one that had the visions.
Yeah, those she keeps to herself. There's no need to bring those up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Burst the door open. No, she doesn't burst the door open. You guys see that she's about to and she like stops. Just like slowly opens it, peeks her head in, because Roz might be sleeping.
Rivera turns to Ollie and she looks at the cigarettes and she just sighs and she's like, "Can I have one of those?"
Ollie raises an eyebrow and like shrugs and like plucks one out and hands it to her. Didn't take you for a smoker, but
Not
you're more than
usually.
welcome.
Yeah. She takes that, borrows your lighter, I assume, and then she's gonna go to the top.
Ollie will follow Rivera and
Yeah.
go out to the little. Wait, you said roof? Did you say rooftop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fire escape.
He'll follow Rivera. Yeah, little fire escapey area.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, this is still modern day. If you're on the roof of a random hotel and you're not in a worker's like outfit, very clearly not a worker, there will be cops called.
I mean, okay.
Fire escape.
Someone.
Yeah, well,
Bleh.
yeah. Climb out the window and then just hang out in the outside city or area.
Balcony?
No, because she wants to be away from the majority of the group.
Mm-hmm. But Ollie will go out there and just also have another smoke and kick back his feet and hang out for a little bit and kind of let the silence hang for a little bit. I want to have a scene, but I want to give Roz a chance
Yeah,
to
we'll
play.
give her some time first. Yeah.
Yeah, so Lana, you open the door and you immediately see Roz is up and writing something.
Have Ollie and Rivera set off already?
It sounds like they did that as soon as Lana was opening the door, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, is Maritza still with us?
Yes, Marisa wants to check on Roz.
Okay, so Lana just like fucking is about to burst the door open, stops, slowly opens it, sees Roz. Just, hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing a bit better. How did the tour go?
I wasn't really on the tour. Maritza and Rivera, are you sure you're okay?
I'll be fine.
Well, we didn't learn much more than what I already texted you. Rivera was able to look at the file.
Anything interesting?
Just that she was released to a brother.
Oh, and the runes. I heard there were more than one, but there was one, and well, Ollie kind of burned like half of it, but I copied down the other half that was left, in case.
I'm assuming you guys don't know what it does, right?
Nope.
Not really.
So I mean, you're magic and smart, so I copied down the rune, so you and Rivera and Maritza and you guys could all RuneScape? No, that's a game. Here.
Roz will take it?
Yeah, it looks like a weird rune to you.
It's nothing I know off the top of my head. I think it would have to be a, be there kind of thing.
Yeah, well, just in case, or we have a copy of it in case you run into more. We can cross-reference.
Thanks for the updates, by the way, you guys.
Yeah.
Looks to Maritza. You sent updates?
Yeah, I felt bad.
Well, good. You should feel bad.
You're the one that left her here by herself.
Ooh!
Well, I'm fine with whatever. You guys, don't worry about it. I was just here at the hotel trying to rest. There's no reason to try and protect me or anything.
Well, I hope you got some rest.
Shrug.
Did you get to sleep again at all after that?
Too much on my mind.
Is there anything I can do? I can get you more snacks, more water.
I mean, more snacks wouldn't hurt, I guess.
Yeah, I'll run to the vending machine. Don't do that again. Don't just leave again. I swear. I'll get you your favorite again. I'll be right back.
Shaking
Yeah,
finger in Maritza's face.
yeah,
Oh,
just like I'll be right back. Yeah, Maritza, what do you want? What do you like from the vending machine?
Hot chips.
Hot chips? Okay, cool. I'll be right back. Don't be careful.
I'm wondering how many times it will take until at one point Lana's like, okay, we're all going to go get snacks because nobody is leaving anymore. Come on, grabs them by the arms.
Lana has gone to go get hot chips and Roz's favorite snack. And also a snack for herself.
Mini muffins for the win.
Yeah, little bites.
Does Maritza want to talk to Roz?
I mean, yeah, she'll stay in the room to chit chat. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think
Roleplay
like
wise.
super pressing.
Okay.
No, I mean, she'd just stay in the room, just check in. So, are you really doing okay?
Shrug. It's okay as I can be.
Is there anything I can do?
No, I mean, if you can give me more information on what exactly happened on the tour, maybe any vibes or I don't know. I just kind of wish I could have been there.
I mean, there was definitely bad vibes. Zeke, can you remind me the like chill that they felt when they?
So
I think it was the first room.
the second room. Each of the rooms that you went into felt distinctly different. They all felt like your magics, but they felt distinctly different. The entire place had an overall, you knew magic was there. Things didn't start getting weird until you hit the second floor, and then it started getting a little bit more uneven, a little bit more unbalanced and heavier when you got to the final wing. But the first room was very grounded. It was very kind of earthy, magic feeling. The second one was cold, but very hard, kind of cold, harsh cold almost. The third room that you encountered was hot, and then the final room was extremely heavy.
Okay, so relay all of that.
Roz kind of is thinking on that and is fully absorbing what Maritza said. Well, maybe we can get another tour at some point. I'd like to see things myself if possible.
Yeah, I'm sure we could convince Mr. Wild to do that.
You don't sound too sure of yourself.
I mean, he kind of Lana showed up out of nowhere, and then he kind of wanted us to leave. But I mean, it wasn't on like horrible circumstances.
Oh, another one of those situations. We dealt with that a lot. You'll get used to it, though.
Yeah. And maybe we can just say that you were another relative.
Maybe.
Okay, so we shall shift the scene to Ollie and Rivera.
Ollie, like, I imagine just hanging out there for a little bit, not really talking. But Ollie would at some point kind of shift a little bit back and forth, and he's leaned up against the wall of the building, looking out towards, I guess, the other buildings. And he'll say, "So your friends, you think they were there by choice?"
I think they started going there by choice, but they wouldn't let them leave so easily. Especially Lizzie.
Mm. He kind of purses his lips and thinks for a second. "Oi, you've seen me fight a little bit. Seen me swing around my axe. You think I could take some of them nurses and doctor types there?"
Rivera lights the cigarette, takes a puff, and begins coughing because she's never used one of these before. Then takes a deep breath, tries it again. I think that nobody on this earth could shackle you if you really didn't want them to.
Ollie nods and is like, "Well, I would think the same is true for your friends. So I'm wondering if that old place wasn't just some kind of trap or something, you know? Maybe it was all a big setup."
I guess that's possible too. Or they could have been forced to take medicine that, and the guy said lobotomies were a thing, so they might have been really mentally messed with.
Ollie nods and like kind of scratches the little bits of hair on his chin. "Yeah, I would think that there's got to be some kind of fucking trickery or something at play, because there's no way a bunch of people who were off fighting the end of the world would just lie down and take it, even if they were nice and they wanted to not beat on a bunch of people."
The guy mentioned something about the apocalypse, that they were talking about how it was approaching.
Nods.
I mean, obviously, if it was anybody else, we'd dismiss it, but if my team specifically was, talking about that, that might be something to think about.
And you don't remember nothing about this when you were back then?
She shakes her head. She takes another puff, coughing a little bit less now as she's starting to get used to it. Hey, sorry for being a bit of a bitch to you a while ago.
He shrugs. Goes, "No, I'm no foul. I've been right piece of work for most of the time I've known you." So he shrugs and then
Huh. I know I
kind
can't blame you. I mean you're the only ones that have fought and died and come back to life.
of he
So I
he
should.
kind of flinches at the like fought, died, and came back to life bit because he doesn't disagree. And
I
he'll nod and go ahead.
Do you remember a life before you were you?
I mean, he honestly gives that a good amount of thought. Like you can see him like earnestly trying to sift through parts of his memories and come from any amount of ease. And just goes, I don't think so, but guess I can't really know. If I was someone else, I guess who I am now overwrote who was here before."
Rivera
He
takes
shrugs.
another nod. I think I remember being other people then. me. I was having visions of older times while we were there, even before, that group. So I think I've been doing this for a lot more than one life.
Oh shit. Huh. He like kind of moves his jaw like a little bit left and right. And he looks sidelong at Rivera and just kind of not sizing her up, but sort of like gauging or judging her, kind of like trying to assess where she's at.
He doesn't
But
know where she's at.
mm,
That's sort of thing. She's kind of like she's not looking out, like she's just sort of like staring straight ahead into the city. Now used to the cigarette smoking, so she's not making any more fuss about it. Oh, hey Val. Hey, Kitty. Come here.
so I guess how's it been for you for learning all this future shit? Imagine it's been pretty hard. You're coming from a lot further back than I was.
I'm adapting a lot better than I thought I would be, actually. When I first showed up here, I didn't even know what a phone was, and yet, I was able to text pretty well. I think maybe I'm used to adapting to things.
Nods. Maybe that's because you're kind of maybe you've done it before, like you said, other lives and whatnot.
Very weird to think about. And I think in all of those lives, I was magical, which is even stranger to think about.
Hmm.
More honestly, that gave me more questions than I really had answers to, which I guess I shouldn't have been so hopeful, because apparently I never set foot in that asylum. I disappeared, I guess, shortly beforehand, because Liz was raving about how I disappeared, according to the notes. And she apparently put up such a huge fight, she got thrown into the dangerous patients because she would continuously give the doctors black eyes for trying to move her.
Ollie nods approvingly.
I don't remember her, but I do think that that was like her in some ways, or I feel like that was like her.
Hmm.
I mean, I just wish I knew more about myself. I mean, she kind of looks down at herself. I don't even know what I like. Like, I'm not even permitted that.
Ollie at Rivera, and then there's a little bit of like recognition. Not in that he recognizes your appearance, but in that he recognizes something that he had not thought of before. Which he pauses for a second and says, well, I was gonna say something like, it's probably easy on you because you don't know who you was. Knowing everything about who you are and where you came from and all that shit. You shrug. He, like, just waves his hand kind of in the circular gesture and goes, well, fucking everything I know and everyone I've ever met is killed over dead. Or in some kind of hell, or some kind of care place or old folks home or something. Don't know what one of them know. Don't know what happened to him. But maybe that's for the best.
You want to find out if you had the chance to?
Oh yeah, I don't like not knowing stuff. It bothers me, but maybe if I learned it, it would make me more pissed off and satisfied. Might not be good. To want it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. But I don't know. I feel like maybe we need to figure out what happened. Because, I mean, me and you came back for a reason, right? And as far as I know, it's done.
Nods.
So there's something. There's some answer that we're not getting just yet. And I don't know if we have to go back to that asylum and stomp out those bug creatures that you were talking about. I don't know if those runes were actually a seal and we need to keep it or rebuild it even, or if we need to break it, or
How they got put up in the first place. I would think if your friends were there and it wasn't some kind of premeditated trap of some kind, then they could have just forced their way out. I mean, if I was fighting for the end of the world and I still had all my powers, I'd fucking carve a hole through the fucking wall.
he
Not gonna let a
nods.
bunch of nurses and doctors get in my way. I got shit to do. But he shrugs. If it took away my fire and my fucking guitar and I was just left with my mitts, then, well, probably wouldn't get that far.
Could be just wishful thinking, but I think Liz was waiting for me to show up until the end.
He, like, turns his head and raises an eyebrow. What makes you say that?
Well, just when I was in her room, yeah, I had a vision of her. And again, this could just be wishful thinking, but she seemed to acknowledge my presence.
In your vision, she saw you?
She Rara nods.
Ollie is incredulous, but he doesn't disbelieve it. He's just like, he just has the kind of like puzzled look on his face, like, oh, how the fuck would I react? Well, that's a lot of fucking nonsense to take in all at once. Getting all this info about your old friends, seeing your old friends in visions and shit, and old friends in the visions talking to us, being cryptic as fuck. I'd be pissed if any of my fucking bandmates were that way. Like, stick, like, thing with the cigarette in his mouth, like, kind of flipping it, moving it up and down.
Yeah, she refused to say that I didn't really exist until the very end, but at the same time, the things that they did to her was kind of. Well, I was about ready to go on a spree myself if you can do that, kind of gives a soft smile at that.
Ollie nods approvingly again, just going, "Hey, I fucking get that. It's not like back in your time they fucking got mental health any better than they got it right in my time. Big fans are just locking people up in big old boxes and fucking throwing away the key.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, hopefully we figure this out, why we came back and where the fuck all of our friends went. And I guess if we can go back, but
Would you want to go back?
he takes the cigarette, he hasn't puffed on it in a while, and ash has just accumulated at the end, and he holds it in his thumb and forefinger and just kind of looks at it. There's a half-hearted look on his face, and he just kind of goes, "Well, I would think so, but I don't know. Maybe things are too fucked now. No, I can't go back. Know what I mean? I did
No.
just go back to, what, 50 years ago. Just like that. He snaps his fingers.
I mean, if nothing else, you could make a fortune.
There's a little bit of recognition, like, oh, okay, yeah, good point.
I think I would choose to stay here if I had to go back or not.
Hmm.
I mean, I would miss my friends, of course, but just the world's made a lot of strides since then. It's probably the one good thing about coming back to life, actually.
Ollie gets, like, he narrows his eyes a little bit and flicks his cigarette off over the edge and just lets it fall. He goes, well, if one thing's for sure, I ate a little bit more meat, and nowadays, like I did back then. And he kind of stretches his back, and you can hear the pops. Fucking made a bend, did all that fucking work, tried to spread the word, didn't fucking take. World's just as shite as it was when I left. Might as well start here. Maybe I will stick around.
Who knows, maybe I'll learn how to play an instrument. And
He
she just
nods
kind of
and
chuckles at that.
just, like, without looking, he just goes, well, if you want to do vocals, you could do vocals. I'm not a singer myself.
I think I took singing lessons back in the day.
Ollie, like, scratches the back of his head and just goes, I fucking. Alright. It's good talk. I'm gonna go back and tell boss lady that we're all good and square and nothing's gone wrong. Before she
Sure.
gets any more tightly wound fucking snips.
Sure, I'll be down in a bit.
He holds out one more unsmoked cigarette, like, one for the road, or are you good?
Yeah, I might buy a couple of packs myself. Oddly
Nods.
calming.
He nods and, like, hands it to you, but as he hands it to you, he presses his thumb to the opposite end of the filter, like where the actual opening end of the cigarette is, and there's a soft little, like, sizzling, and he lights it.
Nice trick.
It's a fucking magic. It's good for fun, good for something, at the very least. Sticks his hand in his pockets, and then goes back inside.
Okay.
Let's put fucking disclaimer on all these videos. We do not endorse the smoking of cigarettes.
You do not
Yeah,
endorse
smoking
smoking.
causes cancer. Ollie is from the
Smoking is
70s.
bad.
Don't smoke indoors.
Rivera impressed.
Ollie is from the 70s. Rivera is from the 1910s. Smoking is not good for you guys. To be fair,
Cancer
we're probably not
kills.
going to die from whatever smoking will cause.
That's also true. But even if that were true for you, you probably still shouldn't smoke because Ollie doesn't believe in cardio. He should believe in cardio. He is a bad example.
Oh, God.
Cardio is good.
Cardio is very good for you.
Remember, kids, smoking kills.
Ollie just like trying to run after the group, wondering why he can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fuck? Everybody slow down, man. I can't do this shit. Okay. So, there is the moment outside. Ollie, you get back inside, and by that point, Lana has returned to the room with snacks in hand for Maritza and herself and Roz. Don't know if there's anything specific that you guys are wanting to say to each other.
What did you say? I'm sorry. Just
Everybody but
Everyone
Rivera's in the
is-
room.
Okay. Lana has
Come back
gotten back
5
with
minutes
snacks.
later. 5 minutes after.
Yeah, Lana has gotten back with snacks. And Gatorade.
Ollie, like, did you get snacks for everyone or just for you, Maritza, and Roz?
She probably started there, and then once she got those, she was like, okay, little muffins, got those. And then she's like, I should probably get some for them. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So she has snacks for everyone. And, like, she got, like, a couple of fucking Gatorades. She's like, electrolytes are good.
Like, I was gonna say, if you didn't get them a snack, Ollie's going for the hot chips immediately.
Fight
She
with
got
Maritza.
She got everyone
Maritza will fight for hot chips.
Yeah, no.
He'll take the snack and then, like,
What is his snack?
immediately look to Lana for, like, well, go on then, hit me.
Just looks at him just like, okay, you have your snack. Maritza, here's your hot chips. Roz, here's your little bites. I got you two because like 4 isn't enough. Vera, her snacks here. I have Powerade, I have blue, and I have red. Didn't have any other flavors. So take your pick.
Right. Objectively the best Powerade.
Yeah.
I'll take blue.
Sure. Okay, so you get blue one. There's only one blue one, but you can have it.
Well, I mean, if you wanted it,
No,
I
take the blue. Just take it, Roz. Just take the blue. I'll have the red one. It's okay. It's fine.
Vein popping in her head, just take the blue.
Like no, it's fine.
What happened to not? What happened to eating their snacks when they got back?
That's why I got more. You didn't have to say that.
Raz gives a small smile. She's trying to joke.
Lana is just like rubbing the back of her neck, and she's like, "Well, I mean, I had to wait for the Uber to get here, so I mean, I got a little."
So you actually did eat their snacks.
Well, I
Oh, what?
got
Not
new
my
ones.
snacks.
I got new ones. And to be fair, they left when I got the snacks for them, so I mean, I feel like it's only fair. So yeah, while waiting, I ate them. But you guys have snacks now, so thanks, Roz.
Traitor.
Oh, Ollie looks over to Roz and just goes, "What was your deal? Sleeping on the job?"
Hey,
What? She was sleeping. You said so.
yeah, she should have been sleeping. She should have been trying to sleep.
She needed her rest.
Exactly.
What for? Just in general, I guess.
Oh, right. You were MIA.
No one told him.
Well, I was a little busy trying to wrangle them and get them back and copy down the rune and make sure he didn't finish destroying the rune. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what it did.
Hmm. We're probably gonna have to deal with that. Just putting
Yeah,
it out there.
just Roz, are you sure you're okay?
I'll be fine. I've been better, but I'm sure just some rest and I'll be tip top shape by tomorrow.
Okay, just if you need anything, just let me know, okay? You guys,
I'm sure the snacks and Gatorade will hit the spot. It'll be fine.
yeah,
Don't
and
worry.
if you want more, they're out from the vending machine, but I can like run. There's a corner store like down the street. I could get more blue if you want more blue.
Ollie will
Don't worry,
reach into his
Lana.
pocket, pulls out a cigarette, and just goes, "You want a bum of smoke?"
Is he saying that to Roz or Lana?
To Roz. Because Roz is like, yeah, I just need a good night's sleep and some snacks. That'll hit the spot. Ollie's like, oh, you're stressed? Have a smoke.
It worked for her there.
I
Disclaimer: don't smoke.
I don't think that'll really help. It didn't really help last time.
Shrugs.
Last time?
Don't worry about it. Thank you though. I do appreciate it. So getting you up to speed.
I'm gonna sit down right here.
Oh, above table here. Are we saying that Ollie was there when with the fruit?
Yes.
With tying down
Ollie
the fruit.
would have had to have
Yeah.
been there with the fruit to come here.
Okay.
You're just
Okay.
oblivious to
Gotcha.
everything.
Maybe he was out for whatever the fuck the yoinking.
If we're wanting to say that he was not there for the Lana and Roz
KO.
thing, then it could have just been that he was
Yeah.
he was in a different bedroom
Yeah.
because there's could be 3
Yeah.
different bedrooms.
We left him with the luggage.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Girls, 1 guy, 3 bedrooms. 2, 2, and 1.
That tracks.
Yeah. So, well, I was just gonna sit down next to Roz. You guys can probably just notice that, like, is kind of just like always within like arm's reach of Roz now. just constantly now. just very hovering and being near and very concerned.
Now you're concerned.
She's gonna turn to Roz and just let her take the lead because she kind of just got taken along for the ride.
And
On what
Roz was
happened.
there longer and saw more.
Exactly. It's just like, oh, it's more your story.
Well, so you know how we all got that really weird feeling after dealing with the fruit? Like
Hasn't gone away, has it?
Nope.
shakes head.
No, that's not a question from him.
Yeah.
That's him saying like, yeah, it's not left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just really leaving Vegas, and I didn't know if it would still be watching us, if being on the other side of the country or whatnot, you know. And so I just kept checking if it was still watching us while we were, on our way here. And I mean, it was fine. I mean, it was, but like everything was fine until we got to the hotel room, and
Slow eyebrow raise.
it. I mean, I took precautions. Obviously, I tried grounding myself. I mean, yeah, maybe I should have warned Lana, but
Looks over to Lana.
I'm
Lana,
sorry about that. I
she's
really
like,
am.
lopsided like smile. It's like, no, it's fine. It's good that you did. But yeah, Lana just like rubs, like absentmindedly just like rubs her wrist, which has like a handprint bruised in.
Oh shit.
It's like, no, I'm glad you did, because I would have thought you were just taking a nap if you didn't. So yeah, just always, just let me know, okay?
Well, I mean, like, remember the last time when we were in that weird, realm inside the, I don't know, that magic realm, and I tried doing something similar there, and kind of almost got sucked into whatever that was. Anyways, I really am sorry about that. So I was trying to ground myself by holding on to Lana. Well, the last time I did it wasn't good. Whatever I was trying to search for kind of yoinked us. spiritually.
Like, you teleported. You fucking poof.
No, like our bodies passed out and our spirits got yoinked.
Blinks twice. So, you basically fucking.
I don't think it was that bad. Or to
Oh,
that
well, your spirit left, and then you're fucking
Well,
sitting there as a
like-
dead little corpse on the ground.
like our magical selves.
How is your magical self different from the you who's here? Well, scratch that. I'm not blaming you for nothing, mind you. But it sounds like you both died and came back. Says quotation marks around died.
I
But where'd you end up popping into? You said your magical self was off and away where?
well,
Place where we were before, where it was all we could kind of almost fly. That fucking place.
no, it was different. Very different. It was different, right? I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, yeah.
A dark realm, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were these shadows and these things and this just giant, humongous. I don't even know what that was. It was dragging me and Lana by my spiritual tether? Magical tether? I mean, God, it was a lot. I've never experienced anything like that, and it was consuming the tether. And then I guess Lana got out somehow. I'm still not completely sure on what happened there. I think Rivera helped, right? Is that what happened?
I think. I'm not too sure. I was kind of out of it.
Well, anyways, I couldn't get myself out of it, so I kept trying until I was able to get out. She kind of side glances at the bed. She's hiding something.
How did you? We were all trying to get you out. How did you get out? Like if this happens again, maybe it'd be good to know how you got out so we can, do it again so that we don't get, I don't know, yanked and then eaten up or the magic gets anyway, just how?
Roz bites her lip a bit. And sighs, and I wouldn't suggest doing what I did. I I didn't want to get eaten by that thing because that's what was going to happen. That's what it felt like, anyways, or what I thought, and I kind of broke the tether.
Wait. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, like rope, you break at the middle, and the things aren't tied anymore.
Well, yeah, I got you on that part, but what the fuck does it mean for you? You fucking broke a spirit rope. Hi. Like trying to figure out like, do you fucking know?
I love Ollie. Ollie's interpretation of shit.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'm not sure yet. It was painful. Very, very, very painful.
Oh my god.
I had some really horrible visions when I slept. I mean, but besides that, nothing yet. I mean, I feel kind of weak and Roz looks at the bedspread and then looks at Lana's wrist and the bed and then the wrist again. I should do something that I would, right?
Do something about what? About what you just went through? That's more important.
Oi, can you fucking do magic still?
Do you think
There's
you're...
only one way to find out.
Let's just start with just something small, okay? Something simple. Don't stress yourself out too much. You know.
Ollie will like get up and look around. Like it's a hotel. There's probably not a potted plant in the room,
No.
but there might be one down the hall near the elevator, something like that. But Ollie's immediate thought is, okay, we're gonna test their magic. I need plants.
Looks at Lana, looks at her wrist, and looks at Lana again. Attentively puts her hand out, like as in, give me your hand.
Yes, Ollie. You can also find a potted small tree down the hall if you would like.
Well, it's coming with him. He gets up and he's like, "Give me a minute," and then he'll run down the hallway,
Little
grab a
bonsai
potted
tree.
tree.
It's like one of those like little thin saplings. It's not particularly light. It's a little bit taller than Ollie.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of those ones that's it's not like a table potted plant. It's like a small indoor tree.
You put it in the corner of a giant hallway kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So he grabs that and he hefts it all the way down the hallway.
Yeah, as you are reaching out for Lana and Lana's giving you her arm, you just hear shuffling and cursing as Ollie starts dragging this tree down the hall.
Again, very Yosemite Sam like resin as he stumbles back down, like uses his back and shoulder to push his way in through the door and just goes, okay, fucking do some fucking plant shit or whatever you fucking do. And he sets it down.
Okay.
Whatever would be smaller, just to try it out.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Small test.
Yeah. Maybe the plant would be better because the element and. She takes a breath to calm herself a bit. She's very nervous.
This is about when Rivera comes back down.
I
Why are you
imagine
dragging a
Lana's...
plant?
Oh, sorry.
Ollie like looks at Rivera and looks at the plant and then looks over to Roz and just goes, "We're testing out an idea."
Carry on.
Roz will go over to the plant and kneel next to it.
Okay.
And I guess try and give it a little life, because I'm sure being an indoor plant is not fun for beautiful little sapling. Yes.
As you reach out for the plant and touch it, there's a moment where you start pushing your magic towards it. And normally, when you push your magic towards plants, you almost immediately get response from them. You can sense kind of their needs, more or less. You can sense the life within them. But your magic hits the plant and you don't feel anything. And you push a little more magic in, and the magic is leaving your fingers, but you're not getting anything back, and the plant doesn't seem to be responding.
Ooh, did Ross get an element change?
I,
Hey, he okay?
she closes her eyes and tries focusing again, and with no response, essentially, she frowns and moves over to Lana and holds out her hand again.
She'll take the hand or give hand, whichever.
You're trying to heal her.
Try to heal. Yeah.
And as you move your magic to Lana, you can again feel the magic leaving, and you can feel it even brushing against Lana's own power. And it takes longer than you would like, but you do see the bruise start to fade very slowly. And even Lana, you've been healed enough by Roz that you can see this is taking longer than it should. But it is going away, and that ache in your wrist fades very slowly.
Does Lana notice or feel anything different about Roz's magic?
It feels the same generally, but there is some where Roz's magic, being kind of the earth, always felt very, very grounded, very solid. It feels wobbly. That structure, that base of it, feels like it is no longer anchored down. Mechanically, Iris, you currently are not being able to use either your spontaneous growth or restraining vine ability.
No.
Ouch!
You have all of your healing still, but your ability to work with plants seems to not be working.
So, okay, so technically, like, I was thinking initially I was using the healing touch, which is in the life thing. So, when she was healing Lana, it would be more tapping into the idol aspect rather than the life aspect.
It's still there. You still have connection to your life stuff, but it is not nearly as strong.
Okay.
You have been completely unmoored.
On what?
Unmoored?
Yes, unmoored. So essentially, you're no longer like.
Oh, okay.
You're no longer connected as
Anchored.
strongly. Anchored, yeah.
Yeah.
Ship has left the docks.
Thank you, Piper.
I'm going to put locked next to the abilities for now,
Yes.
so I remember this.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay.
So you still have all of your healing, you still have your pedal storm, because that was the way you described it to me, more energy based.
Mm.
Just not spontaneous growth or restraining vines.
Yes.
Oof. Ah, man. Alright. Z, like, how much longer does it take? Is it like 5 times the amount of time to heal the bruise, or?
It's a good 2 or 3 times. So usually where she would touch you for something so small as a bruise, even though it's a deep bruise, it's still very, very small. It's not like being like stabbed by an eidolon. For something that small, usually she would like kind of take your wrist and you'd feel the magic and it would be gone within 5-6 seconds. Now it's taking like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. To the point where before you would be kind of almost there and gone when you blinked. Now you are actually watching the bruise fade.
Alana is going to just like flex her wrist, and she's look. There's like a bit of concern in her eyes, but she gives Roz a smile and says, "Thanks. Just well, I always knew you had a strong grip. You really should let me teach you fencing." You reach the eyes.
Yeah. At least I'm not.
Look, you're not broken. Just, are you feeling okay? Do you need to sit down? Do you need more water? Do you need anything?
I think I'll just. I'll just try. I, she just shakes her head and walks over to the plant again to try and get that connection back again.
Every time you try to push magic into the plant, you know it's going there. You can sense your magic spreading, but it's not connecting.
Well, shit.
Roz is silent.
Alright. I think we should probably put this plant back before the hotel staff starts asking questions, because Ollie kind of left a dirt trail.
Ollie looks at it. He tried kicking it out of the way. There's foot marks, like swiping marks.
So,
He just goes, yeah, I'll fucking take care of this now. And he gets up, starts moving it.
okay. So we'll just put the plant back, and look, it's probably gonna be okay, alright? It's just gonna come back with time. Just focus on resting, okay? We'll figure it
Silent
out.
nod.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And thank you, by the way.
Nod.
Alright. I think that we should all get some rest now.
Sounds good to me.
Ollie nods and kind of looks at Roz, but doesn't say anything. And then turns back to Lana and says, well, once we rest, what's any idea?
Figure out what to do with the asylum if we go in there. And figure out what those runes mean if we just leave it be.
Nods.
But
All right.
yeah, for now, just focus on resting and just getting some sleep.
All
Do you need
right.
help with the plant? I heard you just struggling.
No, I've got it. And he, like, struggling, but has it.
I can get it. I can help if you
Nope,
want.
it's fine. I got it. It's fucking just awkwardly shaped.
Sure. Yeah.
So the group slowly splits up to the sound of Ollie fighting with the plan again. Going to your separate rooms for some nap time for the next hour or two, and I think that is a good place to end this particular session. You all can discuss what you would like to do proceeding above table if you would like to.
Yeah.
Going back to them and taking care of whatever is just there.
Or not.